Today, I'm going to be going over the Oura 4 versus the UltraHuman Air, and if you know my channel, I already did this and I uploaded a video. I have impeccable timing because right afterwards, the Oura 4 came out. So, just like the last video that I did, I'm going to be comparing the battery, all of the features, everything like that, to the UltraHuman Air. They're going head to head. We're going to test them out, and at the end, I'm going to show you how to save a little bit of money if you're trying to get them yourself. So, let's get right into it. Oura's been out for a while. UltraHuman's brand new to the space. They just planted a factory here. In my last video, I took the Oura 3 and the UltraHuman to Greece. Obviously, I'm not doing that here, but I'm going to try and be as unbiased as possible, and this is how it's going to go. First, we're going to go over the appearance, how it looks, things like that. Next, we're going to go into the features, what each ring track and how they compare. After the battery life, I wore both of these new rings together at the same time at 100%, and we'll see how long they last. Lastly, the value, what you get for your money and everything like that. We'll look at the deal that you can get, how you can save money. So first, let's go into the appearance. Start with Oura's website. If you go to their colors, you have silver, black, brushed silver, stealth, gold, and rose gold, and you can see the different prices for each of them. They charge more for whichever you choose. I have silver, so I kind of went through with that. Next is your sizing pick. I already know that I'm a size 11, but if you don't know your size, you can order a sizing kit, or they also give you the option to go to Best Buy and try it out for yourself. So they give you a lot of options with that. But one thing I really want you to pay attention to is that you can prepay for the subscription. 12 months prepaid subscription. Obviously, there's a subscription fee for Oura ring. What I really mean is the warranty. With this ring, you don't really have a way of tracking where it goes. So if you lose the ring, it's gone. That's it. And it is something that you would want to consider if you're someone who loses things like that. I'm going to go into it more with UltraHuman's Air, but not skip over this entirely. Just keep it in the back of your mind. And then once you select which one you want, it takes you right into the cart, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Now we have the UltraHuman website, and they definitely upgraded the website. They have a few more products. Then you have the options of the colors, and these are the same prices for, you'll notice, all of the different colors, unlike Oura. So you have the raw titanium, aster black, matte gray, bionic gold, and space silver. I personally like going for silver. It just goes better with my palette, and I like it a little bit more for jewelry, for different things, and that's just what I personally like. I know there's a lot of people that like the bionic gold or gold in general who wear a lot of jewelry that is gold and different things like that. So if that's something for you, you go for that one. And then of course there's a lot of different people that are able to rock the new darker styles and color palettes. Pick whichever you like. You're not penalized for pricing on this one. Let's continue down. Sizing. This one's a big thing. If you haven't worn a ring before, or you're not very familiar with your size on different things, this part is the most important part, and foundationally it matters the most. Someone in my last video even brought this up too. This is something that I recommend getting. You can get the UltraHuman app where it will measure your ring compared to a credit card, and it'll use its software to determine what it recommends for you as a size. And for me, it recommended a 9 when I was given the option. It didn't personally fit for me, so I went for a 10. So whenever I'm telling people to get the ring, I usually tell them for this, when you get the size on the app, to go a size up from what it recommends, and worst comes to worst, you can always return it. But that's something that I would recommend, and it even gives you that option before. Make sure you get that sizing kit. Our rings sizes are unique, so it's something that you do need to pay a little bit of attention to. And if you're not used to a ring, it does swell a little bit for the first couple of nights, but then you get used to it. So use the app like I'm doing here, see how it fits, and go from there. Like I said, you can always exchange it within 30 days, so don't worry. Next up, we have the charger. So this is something new that they just came out with. It is honestly something that is really cool. This essentially is a new charger that you're able to use instead of the other one. And as you can see here, it's compact, durable, lightweight design, tailored for your active lifestyle. So it's made to be lighter. It's made to be more efficient in charging, which we'll get to a little bit later on. And it has the 3 distinct charging systems, so it gives you a little bit more of an idea what you're looking at when you're charging your ring. On top of that, it's designed to efficiently give your ring enough power for 6 days of battery life on just a 3-hour charge. So like I said, we're going to get into this later when we do the charging test between both rings, and then we'll be able to understand this a little bit more. It also comes with a cool travel bag that you're able to put your ring into whenever you're going away and whatever else you may need. So it is really good for people who travel. And when I get to the end and I talk about saving money, this will be able to be included in that. Moving down, you can see you have the option to trade in a ring. So if you have an old UltraHuman ring, you can trade in a ring and get some money towards the new one, any of the older ones, and as well as the Oura ring. So if you're somebody that's upgrading to this ring from the older Oura rings, even just to Gen 3, they will give you some money. So it's good. It's a good way to kind of unload some of your old tech when doing that and save some money towards the new ring. So that's a little hack. There's 4 different options, and if there's any other rings options, you can contact support and find out eligibility. So that's something to consider. Moving further down, you have the option to engrave your ring, which is different. It's kind of biting a little bit off of Apple here. Oura doesn't offer this, but UltraHuman does. You can put your initials on there. So for me, it would be AN, and you could put that in there. They let you use alphanumeric and some characters, others characters supported. I'm sure it'll yell at you if you can't do something. So if I did money, I'm sure it lets you, but it would probably not let you. If not, $39, and that's something you can go for if you like. If not, you say no, I don't want an engraving. So now we got one of the PowerPlugs, which is new. This is the Cardio Adaptability PowerPlug, and it is something brand new with UltraHuman, and this one's designed to measure your activity in response to different stressors and things like that. So I set it up, I have it on the left over here. I'll go into a little bit more detail, but just really quick, it's monitoring how you respond to stressors and different things like that, and it monitors it overnight. So while you're sleeping, you just have the app open in the background, and it tells you if you had good, bad, or mild adaptability, things like that, and it'll give you an actual report. I'll be able to show you guys that a little bit more, like I said, when I go into PowerPlugs, because that's a whole separate section on its own. It's something brand new that they made, and I'll go into a little bit as well about AFib. I had comments in the last video talking about AFib, and I was mistaken in that it was available in the US. It is available in other countries, but not in the US, and it eventually will be in the US. They do say it will be a couple months out, but it's currently available abroad. You could pay for it for 1 year or for 2 years. Obviously, you get a little bit more of a discount with 2 years. You save 21%, and this is eligible for the discount I will be able to help you guys out with towards the end of the video. Keep that in mind, but go into the PowerPlug section if you're a little bit more curious about this, but I will go a little bit more into that later. This is the UltraHumanX coverage. This is basically like insurance for your ring. Now, this is something to consider. You're buying this product. It's $300, give or take, $350. You're going to want to think about whether or not you want to get protection for this. You're somebody that's very prone to losing your rings or losing your technology or different devices. I know my sister loses her AirPods all the time. This might be something for you to consider. Now, there's differences. You have 1 year coverage, extra value on trade-in, so when the new ring comes out, you'll get a little bit more for it. Accidental damage protection, so this is damage. This isn't lost. So keep that in mind, and priority care, you will get prioritized whenever you have any kind of support inquiries via your account, via email, or on the app, anything like that. But if you want to have theft and loss protection, that is under 2 year coverage, and you do save a little bit more per year. So you're paying $54 total. That's for 2 years of coverage with theft and loss protection. I personally overlooked this the last time when I got my ring. I wish that I got it because I was in Greece when I was using this ring and testing it out in Greece, and I almost lost it a couple times. It almost slipped off my finger, or I almost misplaced it, and then I wouldn't have been able to go back because I'd be in another country, things like that. So it is very, very important to take this into effect because you are buying something for $300, and it would suck to have to go and spend another $300 again and get the same ring just because you lost it and you didn't think that you would need it. Now, this would be your total here. I will go in a little bit later, like I said, on how to save some money on the ring. For now, let's go into the features between each of the rings. As I'm mentioning the insurance and the protection, lost, broken, stolen, all that stuff, I want to mention how both rings have the ability to find your ring, locate that, and they work in different ways. So for Oura, you have to enable it in your settings, as I'm doing here, and when you enable it, it shows you the last location, similar to Apple devices. So if you have a watch, AirPods, something like that, it'll show you your last location and kind of ping it in the last time it actually detected it. And then with UltraHuman your Air, it will ping it based on where you are, but it will only work when you connect to it via Bluetooth. So it has to be in Bluetooth range for it to connect and tell you how close or how far you are. If it does not do that, then you're out of luck. Both devices either go on last connection or connection currently. Now, this is me going and putting the ring upstairs in my room. You can see the kitty on the way up. But when I'm going to my room, I'm basically outside of the door and it's still not connected. The obstruction of the door makes it not able to connect to the ring, and for you to not directly locate it, you're only able to tell I found it when I'm very near. So if you're somebody who, like I said, loses things, or if you're worried about it being lost, because I was worried, I don't usually lose things, because unless you're very close to the device where it's able to connect to Bluetooth, there's a good chance chance that you'll lose it. So it's just something to consider when deciding whether or not to get the ring. Very difficult for it to connect and for you to actually find the ring unless it's just somewhere close in your room. Anyways, on to the next part. All right, so now we're going to go through the features between both the ring. Oura doesn't have the same thing on their website where they compare both the features, but a lot of them are the same. What I'll do is go through the comparison. So if we look at this, it is lighter to have the UltraHuman ring. It compares it to as heavy as a couple of US pennies versus 1 penny for UltraHuman. Going down, you get the heart rate monitoring. This is the same periodically throughout the day. HRV monitoring, and this is dynamic and actionable, so it'll give you more insights into what you're actually looking at when it tells you these things. Temperature monitoring, the same thing. You get sleep tracking between both, and then both have comprehensive sleep tracking, and this gives you stages tracking with 10 contributing metrics. So it'll give you that sleep comprehensive tracking, but it'll also tell you how they arrive at that and what's contributing to those readings that you get so that you can correct them, make changes to make better decisions. Moving down, you have movement and workout. Step counting, both have them on Oura and Ultra. Distance, calories, VO2 max, both are the same on each. Moving on, recovery, dynamic recovery tracking via SDNN RMSSD metrics. So you get an extra metric with SDNN. And if you're not familiar what SDNN means, this is a definition right here, a measure of heart rate variability that reflects overall variability in time between normal heartbeats and end intervals. Straightforward time domain measure of HRV calculated by taking the standard deviation of all normal RR, which is your heart rate, over a specified period of time, typically 24 hours. So that is what that extra metric is. It just is able to go into a little bit more about the average over those 24-hour times based on the varying metric. Next, continuing stress monitoring, both have that. Battery life, 4 to 6 days, up to 7 days on Oura Ring. This I will be comparing directly by using them daily without taking them off for the entirety of the challenge between both. And I will talk a little bit about battery degradation as well, because that was mentioned in the last video and I want to cover it in the full charging time. 180 minutes on the UltraHuman, 80 minutes on the Oura Ring. I will be testing that as well. Both rings are ISP 168 certified, so they're able to be functional at a depth of 100 meters. Continuing down, GPS, both of them don't have it. Airplane mode, both have it. Find My Device, both have it. I did just go over that really quick. Actionable nudges, that's a differentiator between UltraHuman and Oura. It will give you actionable nudges based on the data that it goes through for you on that. Form factor ring, circadian rhythm tracking, both have it. Temperature-based ovulation prediction, both have it. Caffeine window detection, this is something really cool that UltraHuman has, and I honestly live by this every single day. It tells you when your adenosine is cleared. This is big for people who drink coffee because it'll tell you the most effective time for you to actually drink that coffee, and it doesn't recommend caffeine past 5 o'clock because it can affect your circadian rhythm, and it takes 5 to 6 hours before coffee leaves your system. It has a half-life of 5 to 6 hours, and it'll tell you the best time based off your sleep duration, things like that, and it's big. I always check it all the time. Oura has something like this, but it's not matured like UltraHuman's version is. There's like experimental versions of it, but it's not out fully yet. So I use this all the time, every day I check it, and I know when to have coffee, and it's like I just hit a rocket ship. It's great. AFib, this is what we were talking about before. Limited region, is not available in the US, but it is available in other regions like Ireland, UK, and in Europe, things like that. So keep an eye out for that. Oura does not have the prospect of that yet. And this is another big thing. We'll get into the financial side of these rings going forward. Oura has a subscription of $650 a month. UltraHuman does not have any subscription at all. You buy the ring and that is it. Performance coach, you also get that as well with UltraHuman ring, which is something new. So you can talk to support and get that priority pricing. UltraHuman $349 and then Oura $299 starting, and requires a subscription of $70 per year. So as you can see here, Oura 4 and it is $349 starting. So this is referring to the Oura 3. If we're going to go into a little bit more of financial side, as I said later, and then the performance coach as well, we're going to go into when we go into the PowerPlug for UltraHuman and things like that. So now we're going to go into the battery / sleep portion of it, and this is just me going over showing you both the batteries being at 100% with the Oura and with UltraHuman ring. So both batteries are at full power, full 100%, and it is the third at 12:53 in the morning. This is the first day of the actual wake up cycle on the Oura ring. You can see here, sleep, I didn't get a lot, about 4 hours. I was in bed for 4 hours 30 minutes. Then my sleep efficiency was 85%. My oxygen saturation 96%. My average beats per minute 60, and my average heart rate variability was 40 milliseconds. So a pretty abysmal score honestly here, but I didn't get a lot of sleep on this night. I had been working late, and this was the little section that it gave you on what you were doing about your sleep, what it recommends, and this shows you all the obviously the stats in which you can do better. Now going on to UltraHuman, I opened this app and it gave me the NAP v2 detection. So that's new on their new update there. And you can see I have very similar scores. So I got more sleep 410 with being in bed 425. So it was pretty much the same. It just looks like I got more sleep on UltraHuman's side, which I did feel like I got a little bit more than like 3 hours 50 minutes. But anyway, nonetheless, 60 beats per minute, and this was in the same HRV range as Oura. I got one sleep cycle went through on UltraHuman. My recovery was bad. My circadian rhythm was, all out of whack. It was a little bit later. So that was the first day of wearing the ring. And then you can see here the caffeine, window detection, and all of that. And then this is the cardio adaptability power plug. I'll go into this a little bit more, but these are the last 2 days, and it shows you how you recover from stress and things like that. Now, moving on to the 4th, May 4th, the next day. So you can see I got a lot more sleep on this night, 7 hours, 44 minutes. It says while I was in bed for 8 hours and 53 minutes. So I kind of laid around as I went to sleep and when I woke up. And my oxygen saturation was 96%, beats per minute 62% on my heart rate. And then my HRV, my variability, was 28 milliseconds. So lower than last night. But you can see all the contributors here are higher, except for the timing. I didn't go to bed at a good time. Battery percentage at 71%. On this day. Now going into UltraHuman, the sleep score here generated, and you can see real quick the battery was at 69%, so lower slightly on UltraHuman's side for this day. And you can see 59 score, mild cardio stress on the adaptability, and 7 hours 54 minutes while being in bed for 8 hours 20 minutes. So you can see restorative sleep, half of it was restorative, and all of the contributing factors here, some being good, some being bad, timing, common theme amongst all of these. And 8 hours 12, you can see all of the sleep cycles, caught 4 sleep cycles, and then the heart rate 59 beats per minute, and HRV in between about 38 HRV in this night. And then day 3, we have May 5th on the Oura app. First here, we had a pretty good sleep night, 6 hours 40 minutes, and while in bed for 7 hours and 31 minutes. Sleep efficiency 89%, oxygen saturation 96%, average beats per minute is 50, and average heart rate variability 43 milliseconds, all while having those sleep stages on the side: REM 20, light sleep 54, deep sleep 26, and the respective times. Now going to UltraHuman right here, and it's rating it at 66, 6 hours and 45 minutes in sleep, 7 hours 5 minutes in bed, sleep efficiency 92%, average beats per minute 62, and average HRV 40 milliseconds. And comparing that with Oura's, it is pretty much in line just by a few minutes. UltraHuman sleep stages 8%, 16%, 55%, and 21%. Very, very close to Oura's. Sometimes it seems like Oura kind of doesn't pick up when I hit the pillow as quickly as UltraHuman, but moving on. Here, 57% battery life on Oura, followed with 56% battery life on UltraHuman. Going on to day 4, the 6th of May, and this day we got a little bit better sleep as compared to the others. 8 hours 14 minutes sleeping, 9 hours in bed, 96% oxygen saturation, 91% sleep efficiency, with the beats per minute right there on the left. I was awake for 46 minutes, 25% REM, 52% light, 23% deep, and 43% battery life on the Oura ring at this point. Now going to UltraHuman, we have a 43% battery life, and then we have 9 hours 10 minutes sleeping with 10 hours and 50 minutes in bed. Sleep efficiency 82%, average beats per minute 64%, average heart rate variability 38 milliseconds. So you can see here it compares to Oura on the left. And then the sleep stages, you have 18% awake, 17% REM, 60% light, and 5% deep. And then you can see here that the cardio adaptability said that I had some minor stress but recovered well. And now we have day 5, the 7th of May. Here we're starting off with Oura again. You can see here on Oura 9 hours 38 minutes slept, over 10 hours in bed total. So I had a long night here of sleep. And you can see REM sleep was 21%, light sleep 67%, deep sleep 12%, with 90% sleep efficiency, 97% O2 saturation, 61 beats per minute, and 38 milliseconds HRV on average. And then with Oura having a 30% battery life left. Now going on to UltraHuman, you can see I recovered well here, had some good sleep and mild cardio stress here. And you can see here 9 hours 46 minutes in sleep, 10 hours 31 minutes in bed, Sleep efficiency 92%, average beats per minute 63. You can see I got like 5-ish sleep stages here and 39 milliseconds HRV, and then as it compares to Oura on the left. Mild cardio stress, as I said before, and then the sleep stages 7, 18, 66, 9 as it compares to the left, and 34% battery life on UltraHuman. So now you start to see they're kind of getting close to dying. Now we have day 6 on the 8th of May. You can see we're in bed here for 8 hours 20 minutes on Oura, 9 hours 17 minutes total time in bed. Sleep efficiency 90%, O2 saturation 96%, beats per minute on average 56%, HRV 36 milliseconds, and you can see REM sleep 26%, light sleep 60%, deep sleep 14% at those respective times. And one thing I will say is I don't like how long Oura takes into account how long you're actually awake when you go to bed. But Oura is at 20%. Now going to UltraHuman Ring, we have 8 hours 30 minutes, followed by 8 hours 50 minutes in bed. We have 96% efficiency. We got around 7 sleep cycles in full, 2 in partial. We had 63 beats per minute and then 40 milliseconds HRV on average, as it compares to Oura's, where it's 820 in bed sleeping, 90% efficiency, and 56 beats per average, and everything like that. REM and light is where it differs. You can see it designated more light than REM, which to me I find somewhat odd, because I would think that there would be more light sleep than REM sleep a lot of times. A lot of times you usually get less REM. So continuing on, you can see UltraHuman has 22% battery, and there was this new thing that popped up I hadn't tried to use yet, where it said your body's signal, and it gives you kind of a rundown on your whole health as it pertains to the last few days. So it's pretty cool. Now moving on to day 7, 5/9 May, we got nothing for Oura Ring. We have no data that tracked overnight, but you can see the daytime stress and the heart rate is there, but it does not actually have anything. And then you could also see how it shows yesterday's cycle, but it doesn't show anything for today. And when I go in, it shows you the 8 hours and 20 minutes like we had seen before. And when I go into sleep on the specific section, you can see yesterday, nothing for today. And this is on day 7, and there's still some battery left, 7% battery left, and it tracked nothing at all besides the heart rate and things like that, just the normal beats per minute. On UltraHuman's Ring, still have sleep stages for this day on the 9th. You can see we have 7 hours 40 minutes, 9 hours time in bed, 85% efficiency, 64 beats per minute, 40 milliseconds HRV, and then we got 2 full cycles of sleep, 2 partials, and you can see the sleep quality here was really bad, 14/8, 67, and 11% deep sleep. This was a terrible night. I remember it, but that was because I kept waking up to check. And the thing is, you know that Oura Ring's working because it was tracking the heart rate and things like that, and it was still on, so it should have been able to track. Okay, so right now this is me early in the morning before I go to bed. It's working late this night, so I checked it before going to bed, and looking at the Oura Ring, it was dead at 4 o'clock yesterday in the afternoon on May 9th. So it was officially dead on that day. UltraHuman is still on, going strong with 7% left, going on to day 8 now. This is before I went to bed, so I was just checking it before I went to bed to see the amount in case it died overnight, and to see if it will actually track overnight into tomorrow. This was the morning of that night. You can see it tracked on the 10th. It was able to see that I got 7 hours 15 minutes of sleep, and I was awake for about 5% of the time, 94% sleep efficiency, 14% REM sleep, 63% light sleep, 17% deep sleep, with 3 full sleep cycles and 4 partial sleep cycles, with some decent recovery. Not great, but yeah, this was a very positive reading after being almost completely dead the morning of, and everything else tracked as well. And you can still see that it tracked it even though it was dead. It was officially fully dead that day at 5:44 p.m. and this was me going back looking at it. So very, very good. And this was the total time that both rings were alive from the start of the challenge on May 3rd at 12:53 p.m. night of, going and wearing it to bed that night. So pretty impressive by UltraHuman, and this was before the new battery firmware update for the actual UltraHuman ring. Speaking of battery, this is now charging both the rings at the exact same time. At this point, there was no battery degradation on Oura because it was new, and there might have been some on UltraHuman because it was older. So I'm going to be starting this with the base charger for UltraHuman and then doing it against the new charger, Voyager Charger, now that we have seen which one lasts longer on the battery setting. Oura starting at 11% right off the bat, and at 5:20 p.m. we're at 86% on Oura and 32% on UltraHuman on the original charger. And not long after that, you can see the total amount of time was an hour till base charge, and the other one was at 45%, meaning you can guess that the Oura charger is about 50% faster than the base UltraHuman charger. Brand new one that we're going to test out with the Oura 4 charger right here head to head. This is a little unboxing of side by side. They're pretty much the same size. One's just rounded, a little bit smaller, and it's pretty much the same weight, maybe slightly lighter on the Voyager in the hand. Putting this on the charger here, using their wires, using both wires from each individual package for the actual test, coming from the exact same power source and at the exact same time. So you can see both rings here are dead, completely not connecting. Starting with the UltraHuman, plugging this one in, and then the Oura right after. We commenced the test at 1:50 p.m. at 12% on Oura and 7% on the UltraHuman AIR ring. 40 minutes later, we're at 65% on Oura, 32% on UltraHuman at 2:33. Coming back at 3:13, Oura is 100% charged. Total time 83 minutes. That's an hour and 23 minutes. Where UltraHuman is at 65%, the exact same time frame. Now going on to 3:35, you have 86% charge, 105 minutes, 91% charged at 3:42, and then at 3:43 it was done charging. So in total 100% charge in 113 minutes, which is faster than expected for this actual charger and faster than the original. And since we're talking about charging here, as I was making this video I was using the ring, and UltraHuman made a new firmware update that allows you to have different battery modes to help you conserve energy for longer periods of time. So this wasn't with this new battery update, it was with no background updates, but it did not have chill mode or critical battery mode. And then obviously turbo mode is for when you're working out, which brings us to our next point of the activities between both rings. And we're going to start with a run here in the park, and just starting them both for both rings here. We're going to go into the run, and I'm going to show you the actual results after the end of it while using an Apple Watch Series 8 to have as a control. We're going to do a run, and then we're going to do a swim and show you the differences between both. But I'm going over the same time periods and showing you the different beats per minute. It looked like Oura was a little bit different from UltraHuman's readings and the watch's readings, so this was just going over the exact beats per minute and the whole workout itself during those time frames where I had active moments. But as you can see here, I'm pretty much comparing it side by side for the exact same workout that both recorded on workout mode, and with all of the things you can pause them and look at the exact stats. And honestly I was pretty happy with this run because I was able to get really nice footage, and it's probably some of the best footage that I've recorded to date for this channel, so I'm really happy with myself. Hope you guys liked it. But now let's go on to the swimming portion. We're going to go and put on UltraHuman on workout mode. So you go to the bottom and you scroll and you hit workout right here. And what I'm going to do is just look for swimming. Boom. So we got swimming on, and then we just hit start, and it goes and it starts actually swimming. We're going to put on the watch, first do the workout, and go to full swim, and it's going to automatically put on setting where it turns the water off for you. So let's hit start. But we have this on, we have the control of the watch, and we have the two rings right here. So let's get into it. Lap one. No other YouTubers though be doing this. All of the tech YouTubers stay at home. They don't go out and work out. Maybe some run, but so now we're going to do the same thing as the running, having all of them side by side and looking at the individual stats, the beats per minute at the same time, and seeing how close they are to each other and what's different, if anything. So you can see here at the peak, at this time frame, it was 147, and it was pretty close on the watch, a little bit different on the Oura ring. And going down into our zone 2, and everything like that, you can see how it differs in that reading for both. And you can see at the total calories, the total time, total beats per minute on average, I go through everything on here, and the peaks, this you can just watch it as I go through it and compare, pause it, and if you want to see specific stats. But they're pretty close, and I did see the UltraHuman was a little bit more on par with the watch as compared to the Oura ring, so that's something to note and just to keep an eye on. But feel free to watch this and see the differences here. And then at the end I pause at the top stats for all of them here between all the workouts on all three devices, so you can take a look there. Since we're on the topic of water, I obviously took the 3 and the Air to Greece. Both did not have any problems in salt water, so the 4 should be fine. So salt water is good for these two. Obviously the rings aren't ideal for someone working out in terms of weightlifting. That's something I don't recommend. But when you're doing a lot of things that aren't as hands-on, where you're swimming, playing tennis, anything like that, where you're not using weights that can potentially damage the ring, that's where this excels. And as promised from the beginning of the video, I did go paintballing on the first day of the sleep challenge, and this is actually afterwards of me me going through the activity settings on both, and surprisingly UltraHuman did have the workout as Paintball underneath it. I wasn't able to find that unfortunately under Oura, so I just put it as running, but you can see here it was a very long day of me paintballing, and there was a lot of calories burned between all of it, and it honestly probably didn't even track 100% of it, but it was a lot of calories. I was there the whole day from like 10:50 we started and we left at like 4:30, so you can see there it is, a lot of calories, 2,900 calories. It seemed like UltraHuman was tracking it a little bit better because it was actually able to determine what kind of activity I was doing, and it does seem like there's a little bit more range with UltraHuman in that respect. But you can see here what those zones meant. You could pause that if you want to know what the zones meant. But then I checked a day after for the recovery, and it showed my cardio age went down, so to me that was a really good sign that I recovered well, and it was really good for me. And then on the 5th was even better recovery for both. It's pretty interesting to see that you're able to tell how you recover from things, so it's cool. Let's move on. So now this is just going over the interface on everything here, comparing them side by side. You have breath work on UltraHuman and unguided meditation on Oura, which is the same thing. You also have meals that you can add for both, and you can add other fitness apps with UltraHuman where they have pictures and things like that that'll automatically scan your food. And then both have an advisor. Oura's is AI, UltraHuman's is a real person. You talk to them on chat and you have access to them priority with UltraHumanX and things like that comes with the coverage and all that like we talked about before. So going on to now the PowerPlug section of the video for UltraHuman. This is a public marketplace that's ever growing where it has different apps for specific purposes. So you can see here there's all different kinds of things: the caffeine window detection, pregnancy insights, alarm, night shift, so things like that. It can give you actionable things that you can do to change or make things better for you, new parent, and things are being added all the time, so keep an eye on that. Now the cardio adaptability, this is what I was talking about for so long before, and it gives you a detailed report on your tracheogram and your Lorenz plot, all to be able to determine how you recovered from different stressors throughout your day and the average and different things like that to contribute to your heart health, your recovery health, and your overall health. Now going on into the app, they have this glucose monitoring sensor that we mentioned before, and also UltraHuman Home, which pairs with the app, and it tells you about things in your personal home environment that contribute to your health, what can be better, what could be worse, and things like that. So this is a total system from them, and it's really pretty cool. And now what I wanted to do was show you guys how to save a little bit of money when you're buying either of these rings. So in the description, I'm going to have links to each is going to have a discount for you to use when you buy them, and you'll be able to see it at the very end. So here, looking on UltraHuman ring, you can see that it shows the discount, and when you go to cart, you'll be able to see that it's applied when you're checking out. Another less known fact is that these products count for HSA and FSA accounts, meaning that your health savings account that you use to contribute for your medical bills and things like that can be used for this, and it is tax deductible, as you already know, with those accounts, so it saves you even more money. Both of them are able to use the HSA or FSA accounts. When I show you upon checkout, you'll be able to see here that when you're paying for it, you have the option to use pay with flexible HSA FSA account, and then on top of that, use the code in the description or use the link, and if it doesn't show up, go back into the description, click the link again, and you should be able to be brought back to the screen where it gives you the discount for Oura. With UltraHuman, it's usually off 15 or off 10. If you have any questions with that, drop it in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to keep both links updated so that whichever ring you buy at whatever time will have a discount. But this is how you save a lot of money on this and really get the benefit of actually having. And one other thing to remember now that we're talking about pricing is that Oura does have the subscription plan. As you can see here, it is $6 a month, so you are paying about $70 per year just to use the ring. That's without doing anything at all. Even if you don't put it on, you're paying that every month just to have it so that it works and have all the features available to you. So I'm not fully a fan of that. If I'm being honest, my personal opinion after all this time of using both rings and having both the new and the old, I prefer the UltraHuman ring. It just has a lot more to it that I like. The UI is a lot nicer. The app inside the app is a lot nicer. I like how the data is presented. It looks just cleaner to me, and there's a lot more that I use, like the caffeine window detection, not having to pay a subscription, not having to pay extra for a different color when you're buying it, and the battery life being longer for me. Those things are very much more valuable to me. And the UltraHuman ring is lighter. You do feel it less on your finger as opposed to the Oura ring. Even the new one is lighter than the UltraHuman. And on top of that, if you look on the App Store, UltraHuman's really working working to make a full comprehensive health system where you're able to put this in the home and it can sync to your app in conjunction with your UltraHuman Rings readings. They also have a patch where you can get glucose monitoring. Oura just ventured into this space too, but for me, the home device and all of the things together, and with all the things I said before, I just like it a bit more. Trying to be as unbiased as I possibly can with these two, showing both things with controls, tested everything I possibly can. I've had these rings for months now. This video has taken a very long time for me to make, a lot of effort put into it, a lot of reshoots and different things like that. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. That is everything to do with these two rings. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments below. I try my absolute best to get back to you guys as much as I can. Make sure you get the right sizing for the UltraHuman or for the Oura ring. With that all said and done, you guys, thank you so very much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and peace.